Foreign policy in Syria again. I know I'm harping on it. I know I'm whacking on it. It's going to be a problem. Our foreign policy is absolutely horrible. You try to stay away from everybody else. You try to act like you're a peacemaker, and it doesn't work. Not in this world. Not in most of the other places, these small countries where all they respect is strength and whatever else you could throw at them. But not just being nice and trying to back off and trying to leave it alone. Let's look at Syria. You see it down in Africa. It's just not happening. Syria is really horrible. The Middle East is in such trouble. Not only do we have the 4% solution that we talked about earlier, that there's only been 4% of the chemicals have been turned over to be destroyed. 4%. That's why we didn't send missiles to Syria. 4%. Like they didn't know this was going to happen. Like they didn't talk to Russia, and Russia said, don't worry, the president's not going to do anything. That's how President Obama is. He'll send in a couple drones every now and then, but he's not going to do anything. President goes on TV or into the interview and goes, there's nothing we could have done in Syria. Sure, there's things we could have done in Syria. There's lots of things we could have done in Syria. We could have made our presence known. Just that alone would have had a hand in it. Now what's going on? You have major cities locked up, totally surrounded so that no food gets in. You have major humanitarian problems there. People are dying. There's no food coming in. They're sticking on Scud missiles, nails, things like that they're blowing into homes and people. Think about that. So it's like sticking a shotgun and putting all the junk in the shotgun and just blowing people up. Is that any different than putting on a belt like some of these real extreme radicals do and blow themselves up? When they do that, what happens? They just sit there. Sorry, I know I'm not supposed to move around. They just sit there, and it's all balls and metal and everything that goes flying everywhere. And what are we doing? Al-Qaeda has now exploded into Syria. In fact, there's one faction of Al-Qaeda that's so crazy that, as John Stewart pointed out, Al-Qaeda doesn't even like them. And what are we doing? Nothing. Making excuses. Doing nothing. Gets worse and worse. There's going to be no peace process between the Palestinians and Israel. Even though it's almost impossible to do it, it will work out one day. Who's going to listen to America? How can you trust America? When America goes against you and you think they're your friend and then they turn on you, why would Israel even listen that much or respect them? I spoke with somebody from Saudi Arabia today. Nice guy. He says, how can we trust the United States? I said to him, well, the United States really doesn't need your oil or gas that much anymore because we're turning into independent oil and gas producers. We're going to have enough. We're not going to be dependent on the Middle East anymore. He says, that's not the point. The point is, it used to be our friends. Now you turn around and you go to Iran. And you try to help Iran, which helps Hezbollah in Lebanon, which helps Hamas. And what's going on? Nothing. Nothing except Iran's getting stronger. They're doing more testing. They're moving forward to become a nuclear power. Syria, of course, is totally wiped, as we were saying, and they got all their chemicals. And what are we doing? Nothing. We talk peace. We're doing nothing. Nothing. So the Middle East gets stronger, gets worse, more of a problem, bigger and bigger and bigger. And what do? Nothing. We have a reactive president. Something happens down there, he may do something. But we probably will wait till everybody else gets in line first, and then we'll get to the back of the line. I'm not an isolationist. This country can't be an isolationist. This world needs this country's ideas, thoughts, money, backing, power, support. That's what this world needs. And we're walking away and letting everybody do their thing. And everything is cracking up. Look at it. Read it. You can't miss it. The world is cracking up. Different places, different parts, because there's no United States. There's no United States. We're really not the leader of ideas. We're not that shining country on the hill. We're nothing. We got President's Day coming up next week. Sales Day. On the birthdays, not really their birthday anymore, two of the greatest Americans of all time. President's Day. We talked about that earlier. What is happening here? We're really having a problem. We're going to get more and more into this as we go forward. But there's a problem out there. And there's a monster on the loose. Quoting Steppenwolf. And we're going to get into that a little deeper in another video. And it's got our heads into a noose. And it just sits there watching. And what do? Nothing. Nothing. We talk peace. We don't make peace. We just allow things to get worse and worse and worse. And while it's getting worse in foreign affairs, People in this country are getting more and more upset and bummed and sad and angry. Everybody is just blaming everybody. This is really a bad situation. A lame duck president, lame duck probably earlier than ever in history of a tenure. What a sad situation. We'll pull it out. We always do. We just always do. But we better start keeping our eyes out. People better keep their eyes open, because when this stuff starts hitting, it ain't a black swan, it's out there. When this stuff starts hitting, we better be prepared to respond and to do what it takes to help bring things around. I don't know if we're going to have 2.5 years to get a new president to make things happen. Let's keep our fingers crossed, keep an eye on what's going on in foreign policy, and don't be surprised if things get worse and worse. But in the end, it'll work out for us. It's just, can't it get better first? Peace.